Thank you, Linda, for joining us today as
You're
part of
welcome.
the Plymouth State University's Retirees interview. We have a series of questions we'd like to ask you.
Okay.
Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I
All
am.
right. What is your full name, please?
It's Linda Betcher Lambert.
And when did you arrive in Plymouth?
Well, we moved to Bridgewater in 1986, but I came to the college in 1987.
And what was your position then?
I was temporary in the computer center, so administrative assistant in the computer center.
So you had contact with students?
Correct.
Very good, very good. And at that time, would it have been PTC, PSC, or P?
It was PSC,
I don't think I'm going to ask that question. Thank you
Plymouth
very
State
much.
College. Yep.
You can pass on the next question. Can you remember your first year's salary here?
I tried to. I don't think I kept any paperwork on that, but I was looking at possibly 9,000 or 10,000. I don't know, and I don't know the hourly rate.
Thank you for trying to do that. At that time, was it a period of growth on this campus with the students? Do you remember what was happening during that time? The buildings, were any buildings being built, upgraded, modified?
Not at that point. I don't remember that. When I changed jobs, when I ended up in the Cultural Arts Center, that was being renovated.
It's Cultural Arts Center. So
Silver.
that was Silver.
Silver Cultural
Mhm.
Arts Center, yes.
And it's one of our older buildings on campus too.
Probably.
Yes. Mhm.
Yes.
Very much so. All right then. So how many years were you here total?
12.
12 years.
Yes.
12 years. And again, they hired you as a,
I was a temporary employee. I was filling in for a woman on maternity leave.
and what happened as the years went by?
She never came back, and I applied for the job and got it in the computer center.
That's awesome. All right. What kind of responsibilities did you have in your position?
Initially, because they didn't think I was going to be there full time, it was answer the phone and do the mail. I had never sat in front of a computer before, and I said, give me the manual and I'll learn, and I did. And then I got hired full time, and same kind of responsibilities, front office, but also the budget. I learned CUFS, college and university system, and so that was a big part of my job, was the budget.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I had come in when they were making the change from on paper ledgers to CUFS, and so I was able to learn it fairly easily.
During this time, what contact did you have with students, if any?
There were several student workers that came into the computer center, and I got to know them, and they were a joy.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that's the one thing that we all miss when we leave and we come back, revisit. We have those kinds of memories.
Right.
The students were really good to work with or come in contact with.
Yes.
Yes, and they seem to appreciate the help.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's great. So if I asked you to describe the first few years that you were at Plymouth, what might you say?
I think I thrived. I wasn't planning to get a full-time job. I just wanted to take a course in computers. But there I was, and I so enjoyed all the people and the students. So it was a real growth period for me to be at Plymouth State.
That's great. That's great. You may not have had a choice. As faculty members, a lot of them came from other states. Why did you choose Plymouth for a position?
It kind of fell into my lap. I knew one person here, And I had lunch with her, and I said, I'm really getting bored with renovating our 1806 Center Chimney Cape. And I said, if you hear of anything part-time, let me know, or I'm going to take a course at the college in computers. She called me that night and told me about the opening in the computer center.
It fell in your lap.
It fell in my lap. Yeah.
That's a good one.
It did.
Let's see. After arriving in Plymouth, after a few years or so, what perhaps changes have you seen? Let's talk about Plymouth State first, and then I'd like to pop into the town as well.
Okay.
Plymouth State, what were some of the changes that you saw?
The big one was because I was only in the computer center a couple of years, and then I ended up in the music theater and dance. So when I got that job, it was not ready to be moved into, so I was in the basement of the Mary Lyon dorm with faculty until it got ready. So going into the Cultural Arts Center was, that was a big change on campus. It's just a beautiful space, and I got to enjoy it and live there.
I don't think I've interviewed or chatted with anybody that was in Mary Lyon, the basement I'm going to call it, when we had people working there.
Yes.
Do you remember the positions of those people that were working down there? Was it a department?
It was our department. It was the music and theater department, and 3 new faculty came on board as well as myself. And it wasn't necessarily a great start for everybody, but they knew there was a potential of going to the Cultural Arts Center. But it was kind of dumpy. Can you scratch out things I say?
Can we edit? We might want to. Can you remember a few other people that may have started around the same time, or they were just working in that area, the basement of Mary Lyon?
I don't know any other department. The new people in music and theater were Dan Perkins, Gary Corcoran, Rick Fenninger, and myself.
Wow.
And then the rest of the team came over, Carlene Graff, Kathleen Arecki, Bob Swift, that's who I worked with, and the student workers came with me, who helped me tremendously in the job.
Sounded like a great crew.
It is.
Faculty members.
Yes, it was and it is.
Very, very fun.
Can I drink water?
Oh, you can do whatever you want.
Oh,
You go right
okay.
ahead. They'll probably enjoy it.
Thank you.
How long were you in the basement of Mary Lyon?
Oh, it was a short period of time. I would say 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Not a long time.
And so the people you just mentioned, all of them moved over to Silver?
Yes, correct.
And how did life change for you there?
Well, I had a beautiful office to begin with, right next to Robert Swift, who was the chair of the department, and a private office for an administrative assistant was kind of rare, with a big window. And I had a lot of autonomy in that position. Faculty did what they did, I did what I did, and we all got along very well.
Wow, that's great, that's great. Let's pop to the town just a little bit. When you first came here, what were your thoughts? When you crossed the river, that's sometimes I will say, when you cross the Green Bridge,
Okay,
that's what
yes,
they call it. When you cross
yes.
the Green Bridge, coming into Plymouth from Holderness, what did you think?
When we first moved here,
Oh, sure.
I thought I made a huge mistake. We were coming from a very busy community in Westford, Mass. And I just thought, I don't know what I've done. Downtown, I'm forgetting the name of the market.
Adams's, First National,
I don't know. But our,
Crescenti's, there was a Crescenti's here.
by that time? Wow.
yeah, it was so quiet. It was so quiet, and I really thought it took me a while to adjust to where we were, and I miss it to this day. That I'm okay where I am, but this is a great area.
I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna quiz you in about 5 more minutes. What was the name of that market?
And that would be in 86.
Wow, wow. Was there someone at Plymouth who had an influence on you during the time, maybe especially when you first came or during your time here?
I would say other staff members in other departments greeted me well, were very willing to help me. So there were many people that I was very impressed with that. It wasn't like a competition or anything. Everybody was friendly.
Nice to hear. If you think back during your tenure at Plymouth State, what might have been your greatest joy?
That's pretty easy, meaning being in the music and theater and dance department. I was able to take courses. I was part of the PEMI Choral Society, and then I was involved as business manager for ETC, which is at the Educational Theater Collaborative, which was wonderful.
Was Trish Lambert
Yes.
running it at the time?
Yes.
All right, so she just had a production a week ago. Gypsy.
Oh, yeah.
What a genius.
Yes,
What a genius.
absolutely.
How she can get everybody up.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great, that's great. Let's see. During the time that you were at Plymouth, what changes took place that you felt really good about it? Is there one or two things that you saw during your time here? It could be physical changes, it could be within a department, policy changes for the students.
I know that the hub, it was the Cub, and then it became the hub. That was really a nice improvement. There was a new president that came on board, Donald Wharton. I was on the search committee for that, which was quite an honor to be able to do that. And I thought he was a great president. So that was new. And of course, going into the Cultural Arts Center was.
That is one space that has kept, from my opinion only, has kept up with the times.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Bringing in audiences,
Oh,
community.
Right.
culture, yeah, as well as what the students are.
and there involves Trish again because of ETC, a community theater type thing. It was wonderful.
You brought a few things here today that you would like to share with our audience.
Okay.
If you pull something out and you show it and chat just a little bit about it,
Okay.
one or two.
Let me see. I don't know if I want to show those. In 1994, I don't like to boast or anything like that, but I was chosen as the Distinguished Operating Staff. I was the first one.
You were the first one.
I was the first one. And Bob Swift was very proud. Very proud. You were the first. You were the first. So anyway, I received that honor, which was really very special, and Donald Wharton has his name on it. And then I was featured in the update. They interviewed me in the update, which talks about my writing, which I am still involved with. I did a memoir. So anyway, there's that, if I can show that, the update. So there were three, meaning there was the Operating Staff Distinguished Award, then Ray Hutchins, what did he get? Then faculty. So that was an accomplishment. That was really nice.
Oh, that's special. Congratulations.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
And I don't know that I should show these, but anyway, PSC had a wonderful event in front of the hub where the theme, it was a cookout, and the theme was the 50s, or Greece. So several friends, I was well known for dressing up periodically. We dressed up as, I tried to be Sandy from Greece. So there's that, and there's Deb Tobine, Karen Fagula-Wickman, blowing bubbles. So there's that, which was a heap of fun. And then I've got all these little certificates from courses I took. poise, DMS proficiency. So you were able to take courses at Plymouth State, which was wonderful. A great growth, it helped everybody. And let's see, I did write the Office Workers Handbook. Now, there's some humor in it, but all my student workers received one of these. There's pictures of people in it, which were kind of funny. There's Dan Perkins, he won't be mad at me. So it's just, it has humor, but it's instructing my students what they need to do, what their jobs are. I contacted one of my student workers from 30 years ago, whenever I left. Jody Ashcraft was her name. And I had a picture of her in here, and I sent it to her, email. And I said, do you remember this? And she said, oh, do I ever? I still have my copy. But she wrote something, Louise, that I think you ought to see about being a student worker here at Plymouth, how it changed her direction in her life. Plus, she had changed her major, or her minor.
During her time at Plymouth, she changed her
Right.
minor or major.
Right, and she was a great student worker. So, that's a testament of a student, who is ever influencing her faculty, whatever, that changed her life.
I think of my years here and the students coming into my office, and they found it difficult at 18 years old to walk into a college and know exactly what they wanted to do for the rest of their lives.
Right.
So often the teachers, the advisors, the people that they come in contact during the 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years that they're here, makes a dramatic difference.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I saw with this college, how they treated students. It was like a family.
That's a good way to call it. Yeah. You don't forget the students, you don't forget the people that you work with over time, etc.
That's correct.
If there were some people outside here and they're vying for your position or a position on campus, what might you share with them that you learned during your time at Plymouth?
Well, I certainly I'd probably be assigned the responsibility of instructing them how to do the job. But also I would talk about the environment of where I was working at the time. Meaning I would be honest, and I had nothing bad to say about the music, theater, and dance department. So, and I don't know that I would have shared it anyway, but that's what I would share with them.
Our time is almost over. Have we forgotten anything? I mean, it's gone. It feels like we've been here for 5 minutes.
I know it does.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
I don't think so. I've brought my stuff. You don't want to see my report cards, but anyway. I also brought, when I was leaving, and this is how the people, I must say that. Oh, and there's the clock I was given for being distinguished operating staff, which is in my bedroom. But I was able to ask so many different people when I was leaving Plymouth to give me a letter of recommendation wherever I might land when we moved further south. And I have a stack of them here, and they were beautiful letters. I've always kept them. Dick Hage, I don't know who else wrote them, but I felt free to go to them and ask.
I think that's what you said. It's like a family.
Yes.
You're part of.
Yeah, still am.
Yeah.
We went to the retirees luncheon, and some people aren't there anymore, but some are that I get to see.
Maybe that's why we're doing this, so we can see more people.
I think that's a good idea.
We make connections in different ways. This just happens to be one of them.
Right,
All right.
right.
So, no more stories from you.
Oh, I've got plenty, but maybe I should share some of them.
There's always that might be a wise decision.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you very much for the time getting here, driving up.
Thank you.
And spending a little bit with us today, sharing your stories and what Plymouth State meant to you.
Yes. Wonderful place. Thank you.